I am tired of only NFL quarterbacks winning NFL MVP awards, said every single sports commentary person that has no clue what most valuable player means. Now, assuming you can read and you understand definitions, there are only two ways that we can go from most valuable player. Do we mean most valuable to the team, which is the way I interpret it, or do we mean most valuable to the league? So, two options. Number one, if we're going with my framework, most valuable to the team. So, if you were injured or suspended and missed the entire season, how many losses would that team suffer because of that? So, if your team was 15-2, if Jared Goff led a 15-2 Lions team, if he was injured, how many less wins would the team have? Would they go from 15-2 to 10-7? 5 wins, that sounds like a lot of value to me. Would they go from 15-2 to just 13-4? 2 wins, okay. It depends. So that's my framework. How valuable are you to your team's success? There's another framework which we can go off of, and that framework is how valuable are you to the league? Now, not from a monetary standpoint, because that's how much money you make for the league is kind of different from how valuable are you to the league. Now, how valuable you are to the league would mean if everybody was on the same contract, who would net the most first-round draft picks or the most draft capital to get traded for. And that's a bit of a different conversation because that doesn't factor in situation, it doesn't factor in teammates, it doesn't factor in how many wins. For example, Joe Burrow's team only won 9 games. And Jared Goff's team only won, or not only, they won 15 games. So obviously a pretty big swing in win differential. And you might say that without Joe Burrow, they would have lost 4 of those games. And then without Jared Goff, you would have lost 4. I think that's pretty fair, 3 or 4 each. But everybody would pick Joe Burrow over Jared Goff. So although they have the same value to their team, I would say, the value in terms of the league, just due to situation and due to scheme fit, people prefer Joe Burrow over Jared Goff for next season, even if they run the same contract. So you can look at it from 2 different angles, valuable to the team, valuable to the league as a whole. You can't look at it from the angle of, I don't like quarterbacks winning. Look, every single couple years, a wide receiver wins the Triple Crown or running back goes berserker. Last season, there was both. You had Jamar Chase and Saquon Barkley. You've had Jonathan Taylor in the past. You've had Cooper Kupp in the past, where you get these pundits, you get these experts that I guess they just aren't familiar with the English language. When they hear valuable, they think, that guy's got cool highlights. Or they always bring out this retort, well, if they're not going to win it now, when are they ever going to win it? I didn't know that was part of the award. I didn't know part of the award was we feel bad for running backs because by definition they're less valuable. So we're just going to give it to them out of pity? Look, running backs, and it's possible. It is technically possible for a running back to be more valuable than a quarterback, but you'd have to be really good. Really good. And the way it would work, so for example, Saquon Barkley for his position is better than Jalen Hurts for his position, but if the team could lose one player and try to win a Super Bowl next year, they would lose Saquon Barkley. Jalen Hurts is infinitely more valuable to that team when it comes to winning games than Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is significantly more replaceable. Same thing with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase is the best receiver in the league. Joe Burrow is the 3rd or 4th best quarterback. They would get rid of Jamar before they get rid of Joe Burrow. And you can even see that in just the contract. Joe Burrow is making a lot more than Jamar Chase. Jalen Hurts is making more than Saquon Barkley because they're more valuable. It's that simple. It really is that simple. They're making more. They contribute more to winning. And that's all most valuable means, is who is the most important to that team's success. It's not this, he's having a great season, I need a running back to win. A quarterback is going to always win, and maybe they don't win because maybe I get overruled by the stupid normies one day in terms of voting. But a quarterback should always win by definition. If you look at all 32 NFL teams, the quarterback is the most valuable on every single team. Maybe you could make the argument on a few teams that have quarterback battles like the Giants. You could say that because Russell Wilson and Jackson Dart are the same caliber that it doesn't matter which one plays. I could understand that. Maybe you could say that Malik Neighbors is more valuable because the quarterbacks, and even if both those guys get injured, maybe you could say that, well, we could get one in free agency that's just as good. Yeah, when the quarterbacks get to a certain level, it's kind of irrelevant because they're just bad. The Saints situation, is it Rattler? Is it Schultz? Is it a different guy? There's a few situations where the quarterback doesn't really matter just because they're not good. If you have an average quarterback, we could even go to Tua Tagovailoa. Who is more valuable to that success, Tua or Tyreek? We all know Tua. If Tyreek gets injured, they could still win. If Tua gets injured,